Hello and welcome to another Trades and Tutorials video. This is Jeff Fish, president of MarketGauge.com. And in this video, I'm going to take a look at the solar ETF for a number of different reasons. It may be bottoming, and it may also be indicating that there are several stocks in the space that are worth your while. But before I get into the video, I want to make sure that if you're just finding us on YouTube, that you subscribe to our channel. And also, if you don't already know it, we have lots of other videos just like this at marketgauge.com/tutorials. So make sure to go there and check it out, as well as follow us on Twitter at Market Minute and at Market Gauge. And finally, you can get this video in HD by changing your settings on the lower right hand corner of your screen if you're not already watching it in HD. It's a lot clearer. I think you'll like it a lot better. So with that, let's get into the video. The thing that really brought this to my attention was Mish's Market Minute, a free publication we put out every day. If you're not already getting it, go to marketgauge.com/daily. And you'll see what Mish's Market Minute's all about. There's a free video there, give you a tour, and you'll be able to get signed up and get it every day. And Mish will keep you up to date on stuff like this, as well as she's a big fan of solar right now, so she'll keep you on top of solar. So what really grabbed my attention with her mention of it the other day, I looked at it, and I looked at the weekly chart. And I looked at the weekly chart because, as you could see, and as Mish has pointed out, really, TAN, the solar ETF, has a very interesting triple bottom potential looking thing here, right? So we're looking at a weekly chart, but more interesting than the triple bottom to me was this particular pattern. Huge volume last week, and that comes after almost a 6-month or a 3-month period, 2-month period of really low volume. So the market basically gapped lower, had a big volume rally back up, but ever since then, the volume has really dried up on a relative basis. And this volume here is the biggest volume that we've seen since here, the middle of 2014. And not only that, if we look at how the volume occurred, go to the daily, there we go, and you can see that the volume wasn't all one day. And I'm doing this Monday evening, so this is actually another day of even bigger volume. So we had 1, 2, 3 consecutive days of really big volume in this ETF. All right, so the volume in and of itself grabbed my attention. All right, now let's take a look at how we might want to play this. Let me pull up some moving averages here. So here we've got, I just put on the 100-day, the 50-day, and the 10-day moving average. All right, so the thing that I like about this pattern is you've got the first attempt at a low, a second attempt that breaks that low, and then the third attempt that basically comes down to the area of the first attempt, right? So that is an attractive pattern to me, especially when it then rallies higher. So I would look for a pullback in and around the 27 level. I would look for support on the 10-day moving average level, and then put a stop under this level, or even better, under this level. That would be the pattern that I would look for going forward. All right. Now, the other thing that's interesting about this, or before I get to that, so if we were to pull back under the 10-day moving average and then head higher, it would establish another area where you could put a tight stop. But the big picture is this level really should hold with this type of volume. It'll be more convincing once you take out these highs, but I think from a risk point of view, you want to try and buy it in a pullback. Now, another thing that makes this particularly interesting is the relationship that I have highlighted, I believe, in prior videos, or a prior video, which is the relationship between this TAN ETF, the solar ETF, and the China market. Now, part of this is because if you look at the composition of TAN. 63% of it is foreign stocks, and I don't know what percentage of that are actually Chinese stocks, but I suspect a fair amount. As you can see from this chart, where TAN is the orange line and FXI, the large cap China index, is in the candlesticks. So when both peaked out in April of 2015, you can see they followed one another very closely. They haven't always followed one another that closely, however. You can see they kind of followed one another up in 2015 and followed one another down in 2015. So if that relationship tends to continue, FXI also looks like it's kind of pulling back into the area that should be support. And so a rally in FXI would suggest that the underlying strength in TAN could continue. I don't have a better way than that to try and figure out what's going on with the Chinese component of TAN. But this looks like a pretty good, pretty solid correction into what looks like a bottoming formation in China. So both beware and be informed that if China falls apart again, TAN is probably going to be negatively affected, although it has held up relatively well with this recent decline in China. However, I'll show you why I think that is, because some of the stocks in the US that are in the higher component of TAN have been doing quite well. In fact, Mish has been right on top of First Solar for her Advantage service. And this is another way, these are here a few stocks, another way you could play this potential bottom in TAN. I don't know why all the volume is coming in, but clearly there's a lot of interest in there. And it could simply be because of the situation I'm describing to you right now. China might be bottoming. The US solar stocks have some legs, or at least the solar stocks that trade in the US seem to have some legs. So First Solar here I think is one of the best looking ones, having bounced off of the 200, now rallied sharply up to this prior level of resistance and flagging. This one too, with a nice flag, should offer some opportunities to buy the resumption of this trend. Another big component of TAN, SPWR, is kind of stuck under the 200. This isn't one I would focus on as much, but you might want to keep an eye on it in terms of how TAN is performing. Canadian Solar, while not quite stuck under the 200, is at a major inflection point if you look back at where it has broken down from. This again, not one I would focus on right now, but you might want to keep an eye on it as you're watching TAN. TSL, on the other hand, I'm not going to describe this as stuck under the 200 because this thing seems to really be gaining some momentum in here. So while this should be some resistance up here, this is one that looks like if it consolidates, pulls back to the 50, might be one worth considering as a solar option as well. And finally, JKS stuck under the 200. Now I shouldn't say finally because we've also got Solar City, which has really been hammered and certainly has been a drag on TAN, but TAN again has held up. Now this represents about 10% of TAN, so it's a heavy percentage, but not compared to First Solar, which is nearly 10%. All right, so Solar City back up to the 50, back up to the breakdown level. Again, wouldn't be my first choice. If you wanted to trade a particular stock in this group, I think I'd focus on either First Solar or TSL. So TAN, First Solar, and TSL, I think all good ways to start to nibble on what could be a pretty significant turn or bottom in the solar space. Hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next video.